Place to promote the growth of Tigres in English through analysis, discussions, interviews, and more. Welcome to the Lautimes podcast. We are live. We are back on the Lautimes podcast, the only show in the world talking about the CONCACAF Champions Cup finalists for 2026, Tigres in English. One of the two finalists of this final that is happening on Saturday nights. And finally, after a long 3-week wait, we are here to talk about it all here on the show. Thank you for joining us tonight here on Lautimes. I'm Dennis, the host, the producer. We're powered by StreamYard. And we have a great episode for you guys tonight as we, like I said, as we preview this long-awaited matchup that we've been waiting on ever since the weird elimination from Liguilla. The time has finally come, and we are here. So, I am joined tonight by the man, the myth, the legend himself. He is not AI, I promise. You know him as Tigres_English. On Twitter, it's Luis. How are you?
What's up, Dennis? Good to be here, my friend. I'm doing great.
Thank you for being here as always.
The water said.
That's right. It feels like we've been waiting a year for this. It's kind of wild how time goes by when there's no games on the docket. But makes me think of the last couple of years that we've, been doing the show. And around this time last year, we got bounced in semifinals from Liguilla against Toluca, and we got done with the season earlier, and it was a long break. We had like nothing to talk about. And then the year before, we got bounced in that Clásico quarterfinal, and we got bounced even earlier. We literally took off for a month. So it's really nice to be back and still be talking about the season. I'd much rather be doing this than, not doing anything or trying to twiddle our thumbs and try to figure out what exactly we can talk about with this team and with this club. So we're here. It's been a long time coming, and I'm very excited for the game and obviously very excited to talk about the game with you and hopefully a couple other members of our crew here in a little bit. Hey, if you're watching us live, thank you for joining us tonight. Please do us a big favor and let your people know, your friends, family, loved ones, fellow Tigres fans, to join us as we get started here tonight. We are live on Twitter and on YouTube. As always, please share the link with somebody, retweet, repost, like, comment, subscribe, share, do all the things, and come hang out in chat. This show is better when you guys are with us in the chat. So please come hang out in the chat. Let us know your thoughts about all the things we have to talk about tonight. All you people listening back on podcasts later, as always, thank you for being here. And if you haven't subscribed to the show already, please do so. And don't forget to leave us rating and review if you haven't already as well. We keep getting our numbers up on the subscriber front and on the Spotify followers front, which is awesome. So thank you to everybody who has been supporting and joining us here on the journey of this show. So we're here. we're going to talk about the game. Obviously, that's going to take up the bulk of this episode, but we do have to start with a little bit of news, rumors, random miscellaneous things before we get going with the game. So, if you are waiting for the actual game preview, stick around. We're going to get to that here in a little bit. First things first, I feel like we should talk about the biggest rumor bit that came out over the last 24 hours that actually very quickly got shut down earlier this afternoon. Or earlier this morning. So we found out last night through some media Monterrey, not necessarily our own reliable, trusty sources when it comes to Tigres, not even close. But we found out through some other media Monterrey that apparently André Pierre Guignac had found his new destination post Tigres, and that destination was going to be Orlando City in MLS and team up with our friend Antoine Griezmann. Thank you, Edgar, for saying through some chicharron. That's right. However, this morning, Tom Bogert from The Athletic, the most reliable MLS insider in the game, to the rescue by saying that any indication of that was false, according to his sources. So, looks like that's not going to happen, and I think I'm good with that. So, when you saw that last night, Lou, what did you think about it? And now that we know that that rumor's been shut down, I mean, what's just kind of the end result of all this?
I think we've been doing this long enough to know who we can trust and who we can't trust from the media in Monterrey. Unfortunately, just a lot of guys pretending to be journalists and influencers and media people that are not very ethical. Um, so when it came out that this person was the one breaking the news, I didn't even try to retweet it, didn't even try to talk about it because it's a person that I don't trust. Sadly, he used to be a sideline reporter for our home games when we were with VIX. He's known as Lord Cancha Reglamentaria, and he's had a bad track record with us as fans. And so when I saw it was him pushing the story, I kind of immediately became skeptical and then was just waiting for somebody credible to either say, hey, it's true, or no, there's no legs to this rumor. And then, as you mentioned, right, Tom came out, said it's completely false. And then Merlo, shortly thereafter, through his contacts in MLS, said, my contacts are also saying it's completely false. So you've got two guys that are pretty reliable coming out saying, hey, it's not true. So I want to side with them. I think they've got the insiders and they're more credible. So I tend to trust them. Kind of makes sense. I think it's a move that we didn't want as fans, right? We want Gignac to stay in a front office role. And I think from what I was reading, even the Orlando fans really didn't care to have him, right? So I think we're all happy. Both fan bases are happy with this, and we'll see. I think there's been a lot of stuff popping up. Unfortunately, there's a little bit of a dirty war that gets played in Mexican media where they try to destabilize the team through false news. So don't expect to maybe even hear something tomorrow or as we get closer to the game, hear other tales and myths, and just it's just trying to stir things up right before a big matchup.
And it's only happening to us. I don't see any rumors being stirred about anybody on the Toluca side, which is, that's annoying. So, I mean, honestly, if it was true, I wouldn't have minded just because at least he's not playing in the Mexican league. Like, it would have stunk had to see him not retire with us. But it would have been cool as a general like footy fan. I would have liked seeing him and Griezmann team up together, even if it was just for a season. But it sounded like when the rumor was seeming like it was real, it sounded like the the inside scoop was he was going to get paid about as much as Griezmann. I think that's where a lot of Orlando fans were kind of pushing back against that, because I don't think they have technically a DP spot available, or maybe they do besides Griezmann, but who knows? But obviously, I'm glad that it's not happening, and I think the best case scenario at this point is that Gignac just rides off into the sunset on Saturday, hopefully with a trophy in hand, obviously, and we'll leave it at that. I don't want to think about the possibility of like the conversation of, oh, should he stay if we win and then he plays Intercontinental in December and all this stuff. I don't want to think about that right now because who cares, honestly? Like that's not a focus of mine, and it shouldn't be really a focus of anybody. Like all we care about is just we just got to win the game on Saturday, and everything else is just a distraction. So, um, yeah, hopefully there's nothing crazy that comes out like you mentioned tomorrow involving anybody, but who knows? You know how the rumor mill is this time of year, and especially now that a lot of things are going to happen over the next 10 or so days before the World Cup really gets going. We're 2 weeks out from the opener, and there's going to be a lot of clubs that are going to be trying to figure out transfer things before the tournament starts and all that. So it's better to just brush that off to the side. We could worry about all that next week. For us, it's all about, okay, the boys just need to win Saturday. The fans need to be locked in with the boys as well, and everything else doesn't matter. So, some other rumors that have popped up involving the men's team, at least over the last few days. Kevin Castañeda, who has turned into quite the player against us, the man from Tijuana who has scored some golazos the last 2 times we played in Tijuana. There's some links there with him potentially joining. Although the rumor was that I think Tijuana's looking for like 7 million from him. So there's that, and then there was also the very odd rumor of a new goalkeeper coming in town, potentially
Coutinho
with
from
Gudinho
Cruz
from Cruz
Azul.
Azul, yeah. And then I also saw today that Felipao is being linked to Atlante for a loan move. I guess that kind of corresponds with Gudinho potentially coming in. Odd to me. I mean, we have Noel, right? Like I know Noel's not immortal, right? But he's still really good, and I don't really know what's the point of that. I don't know. What do you think about all of it? I thought it was strange to see that pop up on Tuesday.
I think it's still very early to be thinking about that. I don't even think our front office is contemplating anything like of that sort, especially at a position where it's really rare to see a goalkeeper get hurt, especially Nahuel, who's has been pretty reliable and consistent. To me, the Gudinho rumor, I think it's just promoters trying to build them up, right, to perhaps sell them. Hey, there's interest from Tigres, so try to pay us some money. I think there's a lot of that going on right now. I think there's promoters throwing names out to media people to try to kind of inflate the price of their player. So to me, that's one of those because it doesn't make a ton of sense for us to. I mean, I'm not saying anything bad about Gudinho. I think he's a solid goalkeeper. He's proven to be reliable, at least in the last year or so. And he's at a perfect age. He's still in his prime, but it's like you said, we have a reliable goalkeeper with decent backups if we need to go down that route. And it just doesn't make sense for us to go and pay top dollar right now for a goalkeeper when we have other needs.
Yeah, exactly. And as Edgar says here, very strange. Makes me question the signing of our third keeper from FC Dallas as well. Yeah, it's just like you said, it's not a priority. It really isn't. So, the Castañeda bit, I think you and I both think similarly on this. Is that he honestly wouldn't be a bad fit in the grand scheme, but not for 7 million. I think that's
Yeah,
insane. If we're paying three, cheeky little 3 million, I'm not
yeah.
against that, to be honest. It'd be good for depth at the very least. So who knows? I want to. Here's a comment from Edgar. Hot take. I also don't believe Vladdy. I don't know, man. Vladdy's been stepping up his game
Man,
recently,
I like
man.
Vladi, man.
He's been
He's
on
been
top of
good.
his stuff. Yeah, his
He's
YouTube
been
stuff
good.
has been good recently. Um, feels like he's getting to things faster than some of the other
He
guys.
and I don't think he said anything crazy lately either, right? I mean,
No, no.
it's the only thing he said is that Gignac is done at Tigres as a player, which I think it might be true. I think front office has probably told him we're not extending you.
Yeah,
Take a front office job or go to another club. I think that sounds about right. That the front
yeah,
office would say, hey, this is the cutoff, and whatever you take whatever you want.
yeah. Exactly, exactly. I think he's been really solid, consistent. Feels like we haven't heard like much of anything from like Jorge Rosales and Edgar Martinez recently, and especially from Pello. I mean, Pello's been pushing a.
Who leaked the starting 11? Was that Jorge Rosales? I think he
No, that was somebody else. I
thought
can't
it had been
remember.
Jorge Rosales that had leaked that the starting 11 for Tigres.
Well, it was RG that leaked some of it last night. Yeah, RG leaked the one that I sent in
Yeah,
our
but I
chat.
think RG was coming off of Jorge Rosales.
Oh, really? Okay, I don't remember.
Yeah,
Beats
because
me.
as you know, I don't watch or listen to La RG, but I do kind of keep up from far away with Edu
I mean,
Torres. So
Rosales hasn't tweeted since the day after we lost to Chivas. So who knows?
interesting.
Yeah, beats me. Um, what other team related rumors am I
You
missing?
want to talk about the Brunetta situation?
Yeah, I guess so. We can talk about that. There was some other stuff floating around, listener, about Brunetta potentially being on the market. As Tigres could potentially be open to selling him, perhaps after the finals over. This is tricky. It's really tricky. I want to hear how you feel first, because it's to me it's really tricky.
I mean, I think the way it was put by Pello Maldonado was that Tigres is open to negotiating him, which that could mean many things, right? It could be an outright sale, it could be a trade of some sort, plus money, that sort of thing. Personally, I don't like it because I think we've seen what that pairing can do, him and Correa. I think there's good chemistry there. Um, and so it's hard to, if you get paid, let's say somebody drops the 11 or 12 mil that Tigres is going to want for him, and somebody has that kind of cash, which there's a few teams in this league that can drop that kind of coin. Uh, the other question is, yeah, now you have cash on hand, but where are you going to go to get a player of that caliber for that cash? A lot of times you feel like, oh, well, we got cash now, let's go shop around, but then there might not be anybody available of that caliber. So it's hard to replace them. It's a big, if you lose them, it's a big hole to fill. And given the situation right now with World Cup and what ends up happening, the repercussions from the World Cup, right? You might be looking at a player, you say, hey, I like that guy, but he has a phenomenal World Cup, and then the price just shoots up. Then you're stuck. You're just stuck holding the bag. So you risk that. On Tigres' side, I don't know if maybe Brunetta has expressed that he's no longer happy, or that he's battling with some kind of mental health issue, or we've heard all kinds of rumors. We don't know specifically, and Brunetta hasn't really said anything himself. But maybe perhaps the club says, hey, he's reached his peak. We've got all we can get out of him, and now it's time to get some money out of him, and we're gonna fill that hole with Angel Correa, and then perhaps slide. You can think about sliding Gorriarán, for example, into that slot, have Gorriarán play more as an 8, and then now all you're looking at is perhaps adding another pivot, or like you said earlier, going out and getting a Mexican player like a Kevin Castañeda that potentially could give you a little bit of offense there. But once again, the drop off from Brunetta to Kevin Castañeda, that's a big drop off. So you're not strengthening the squad by doing that kind of move.
Right.
So it's a tough situation. I think it's some fans, from what I'm hearing, are like, oh man, take the money and run, because they think players like that grow on trees. It's not the case, and a lot of times you'll get rid of a player and then later realize like, oh man, he was actually quite useful in the squad. I mean, look at Luis Quinones. I mean, let's take a shot.
Hooray!
Even on this podcast, I think many of us were vocal about let's get rid of him, and then it took a long time for Linus to fill that slot, dude. I mean, it took a couple seasons before Linus could actually work himself into playing at that level. So you have to think things through and be objective and not just kind of go on instinct and emotion, which I think a lot of fans are doing.
I agree. Edgar with a couple of comments here. He previously said Brunetta in an interview that he wanted to retire early, so if he's still tracking with that, it's better to part ways now, in my opinion. But we need a solid replacement. Orey more appearances on the pod than Cancelo. Accurate.
Facts.
AJ, I got you. Repping the 2022-23 third kit
Third kid.
tonight. I don't usually wear this one, so I feel
It's a
like
beauty.
wearing it. It is a beauty. Very underrated. I wish I would have worn it more. Don't get rid of the team MVP. It would be hard to replace his productivity. Yeah, unless you're bringing, I don't know, unless you're bringing in, you know, a really great number 10 from Europe, right? Like,
Brazil.
yeah, like what are we doing here, right? Like that doesn't make any sense. I don't think we should. As much as he is very polarizing and very frustrating at times, it's obvious that him and Correa together usually leads to good things. And I think giving up on that after just a year feels kind of wrong, in my opinion. That's kind of how I feel about this whole thing. I think you at least give them another year together and see what happens. And hopefully in the summer you bring in some more reinforcements on the wing and potentially at striker to kind of help even more with the offensive numbers. So that's kind of how I feel about the whole thing, especially with how weird we are with striker right now, with Gignac on the way out and Aguirre being really hot and cold, or really cold recently. You know, hopefully buying a real legit number 9 helps the both of them, and I just think you can't give up on that so soon. That's kind of how I feel. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, we hope that he has a great performance on Saturday. The both of them. I know Correa posted on his Instagram story a little graphic of the game on there earlier on his story. So hopefully he he has a great performance. AJ out here talking about let me see the kid, bro. Let me see you get in here in this call, bro. You and Edgar both out here talking about laptop problems. Don't leave Lou and me here lonely, bro. Also, where's Threaker? Where you at, Threaker? I'm surprised you're not here. Almost 30 minutes into the show. I'm genuinely very stunned. If you're here live, let your friends know that we're on. Send the link to somebody and come hang out in the chat. Okay, a couple little random side bits here and there before we actually talk about the game. There was something that Vladdy dropped on his waiting for the Calle Siete sponsorship to give me a new laptop. That's crazy. Vladdy dropped some news about team license apparel hitting stores in the US. And you may be thinking, well, we already have stuff in the US. We can buy from the Adidas store. We can buy, you know, on the app. We can buy stuff at Dick's Sporting Goods. This is different. This is talking about other things that are not jerseys and shirts launching in, I guess, the big stores. We don't have a ton of details besides that, and obviously we don't know when this is all going to come about, but obviously for the brand, for the culture, and for, the image of the team here in the US, great news.
Get your tigre de peluche, your tigrillo, your bufandas. There'll be so many things. Maybe hats. Have you been to a New Era store or anything like that where you see Tigres hats in the U.S.?
In the U.S., no. Mm-mm.
I would love to see like Tigres merch in certain cities like
Yeah,
San
like
Antonio, Houston.
lids. Yeah, get some of those hats at lids because lids will have random stuff here and there for other teams.
That would be like fantastic if we could get some of that stuff, some of that apparel. Even like the Adidas Originals collection and
Yeah,
the mugs, everything that's available would be really cool to be able to pick it up. Even like some of the smaller stuff, stores like Walmart or Target could carry and would be kind of cool as a trial run.
yeah, absolutely. Jerseys are expected to be a regular item in more Adidas stores. The Houston area has them, but not DFW. Classic because they don't like DFW. Clearly, um,
Dick's Sporting Goods online at least was doing a good job of carrying some Tigres merch, so I wonder if maybe in store select malls or select stores.
yeah, I've seen a few kits. There's one Dick's Sporting Goods right off of I-75 in Dallas that usually has a ton of stuff, and they always will at least have the home jersey of whatever current season we're in for Tigres there. They usually have us and Club America and Chivas jerseys, and that's it. So at least they always have them in store. I don't know any other physical Dick's Sporting Goods stores that have our stuff. Hopefully, with the World Cup and the soccer hype, hopefully getting bigger in the country, that these stores just have more products and more teams in general. But obviously for us, it'd be great. What we really need is the Amazonas. Thank you. Is the Amazonas jerseys available here? I agree. It is so hard getting them. Besides the Tigre Tienda or the Adidas Mexico store, so hard. So I'm with you there, Edgar. I would love that very much. Hopefully we'll get some more details on that soon. Hopefully Vladdy will do us a solid and let us know some updates on that once we know. Um, the other thing, kind of fun thing that I wanted to talk about is we mentioned it last week, but André Pierre Guignac is opening a pizza restaurant in Monterrey, specifically in San Pedro. It actually opened today, apparently. So looks pretty good. I may or may not make an appearance there when I go to the World Cup game in a couple weeks. So maybe I'll report back for you guys and
Stay tuned for the vlog.
perhaps the pizzas look really good. So that is over in it's in San Pedro. It's like right in the center of San Pedro. So if you are making a trip to Monterrey soon, go check it out. Probably better. I assume it's gonna be way better food, way better quality food than Territorio Tigres because I've heard that it's been. I got some intel from family and some friends down there that it's not very good. Like the food's not very good, which is to be expected. So
Sad.
yeah, very sad.
I'll still try it when I go.
Yeah, yeah. One time for the one time, just to see what's up. So, all right, is that it for our news and rumors? No Amazonas stuff this week. Very quiet on that front.
Hopefully that means they're working.
Yeah, seriously, literally have not heard a single thing about.
Especially when you see one of your rivals lifting a trophy,
Yeah,
an
yeah,
important trophy.
dude, I
Hopefully
cannot
that
believe they
that
won
lit a
that game.
fire under them.
Cannot believe they won that game. How are we not the first Mexican team to win the Women's Champions Cup, but America is? That's
Gotta earn it, bro. You gotta earn it.
insane. I mean, it's probably more impressive that they beat Gotham. Kind of makes sense that they beat Washington because Washington is low key not that good. So, um, whatever. I'm salty, but it is what it is. Still waiting for Pedro to get the boot. Aren't we all?
Yeah,
Aren't we all?
before he goes, Edgar, we need him to get the wedgie, couple wedgies, and then the boot.
Yeah,
Make
exactly.
make it a combo, bro.
A 2-for-1 special,
A
if
little
you will,
two-piece combo with the biscuit.
with a biscuit, and a side of fries or a side of mashed taters. What are we, a Popeyes order? There's a rumor going around that we're signing one of the national team girls. Oh yeah, I
Oh,
saw this thing earlier.
oh, bro, if we do sign that girl, I don't know what we're doing, bro. No,
Yeah,
no disrespect, but we need to do
yeah,
better.
I agree. I agree. All right, it's time to get down to the business end of the show. And thankfully, we are now joined by a third member of our crew. You know him as the pride of Corpus Christi, but he lives in Houston with a black screen tonight. It's AJ. How you
What's
doing?
going on, boys? Doing
Great,
good, doing
What's up,
good.
AJ?
great to have you back, friend. Fer Elizondo
Yeah,
is the successor to the Edward Third Scholarship. All updates complete.
That's true.
Truer words had never been said. Um, as I mentioned, if you're hanging out with us live, join us. We're about to talk about the final. Your presence in the chat is greatly appreciated. Okay, boys, here we are. It's about 45 hours, 44 hours away from the final. On Saturday, it's a earlier, or it was earlier. Now it's later. I can't remember the actual game time now. At this point, it's kind of how the Champions League, that the UEFA Champions League final, is throwing me off. I cannot believe that game is at 11 a.m. Texas time. Arsenal PSG. I think that's kind of insane. But we're not the ones running the show. 7 o'clock kickoff on Saturday between
FS1.
Toluca. Yep, FS1 to the N. I will definitely not be watching it on TUDN. I'll definitely be watching it on FS1, even if it means I have to listen to Stu Holden, unfortunately, commentate a game. So here we are. The last game of the season, last game for this Tigres team, the last game of André Pierre Guignac's Tigres career is a final in a continental championship for the right to win our second Champions Cup trophy, for the right to qualify for this year's Intercontinental Cup in December, and I think the most important thing of all, the right to play in the Club World Cup in 2029, which would be absolutely wonderful. So the stakes are so high in this game, as we all know. There's been a long time since this team has played football. Also been a long time since Toluca's played football, as both teams got knocked out in the same round of the Guia at the same time. And it seems like, in the grand scheme of things, looking back on it, both teams have been, having both eyes focused on this instead of the Liguilla, and here we are. It all comes down to this. It's a one-off match. There's no aggregate score in the lead up to this. It's just one game at their house, and with a chance to send APG off on a high note, with a chance to redeem yourself after winning or after losing the league final back in December, and like I said, a chance to be a part of all those international competitions in the near/distant future. So it's a big game, and I'm really looking forward to it. And hopefully, this time of rest has kind of allowed the boys to, you know, get back on their feet and get some rhythm, and hopefully have the right amount of energy and will to, to get a good result and ultimately win this championship against a team that, has obviously been tough for us, but it's a team that is not unbeatable by any means. I don't think so. How are we feeling just going into this game before we dive deep about, tactics and lineups and all that good stuff? How are we all feeling just about the game on initial thought? AJ, I'll start with you since you just joined us and want to hear your takes. So just how are you feeling about things 45 hours out?
I mean, I think with the break, it's much needed. It's a much needed rest for a lot of the players. We saw the second leg. Everyone looked slow, sluggish, but that was just with how many games we were playing. But I think with this break, it will bring a different energy from the boys, and I think we'll see it. I think we'll see a totally different team against Toluca, and yeah, I feel confident. With the, like I said, with the rest, it's given me the extra confidence. I think if we would have played in the final it would be kind of like I'd be skeptical a little bit just because of the amount of games playing before the final. But yeah, no, I'm really confident.
Lou?
I'm with you, man. It's a high stakes game. There's too much riding on this game, um, and it's a game where it's no retreat, no surrender. Just you have to go all out. You mentioned it. It's one game. There is no home and away. It's one game, and you have to go all out. None of our players are in line for the World Cup. There's nothing to hold out for. This is the game. This is the game possibly of the year. Everybody's rested. We're at full strength. Everybody's available to Guido. There's no excuses. You got to go get it, man. You have to get it. Um, Toluca has two missing key players that are really important to that squad. So if anybody needs to make excuses, it's Toluca, not us. This is a game where Guido Pizarro hopefully learned from previous mistakes, hopefully learned a few lessons from the way we played this game last season, tactically, strategically. Hopefully, we learned some things from the Chivas closing game as far as our attitude, our intensity, our effort. And I think the boys know and they need to understand that there's way too much riding on this game where you can't afford to take a minute off, a second off. No excuses, man. I don't want to see guys out there trotting. I don't want to see guys out there taking plays off. It needs to be you're either going 100% or get to the bench and we'll bring in the next guy in. I mean, because everybody's available, so we have the pieces and we need to win it. I mean, this is one we absolutely have to have, bro. If you don't get this, there's just going to be too many questions, right? There's going to be questions about Guido Pizarro. Is he the right fit for this team? Does he have what it takes as a tactician to win the big games? We've been really supportive of him. I still believe in him. I still think that he's going to be here a long time and be very successful. But it's these types of games that really end up molding you. If you come out and show that you didn't learn anything from last year's final, that you didn't learn anything from the way you got bounced against Chivas, the way you played against Seattle in that closing leg, then yeah, I'm gonna start getting vocal about him not being the right guy because there is a body of work now. He's no longer a rookie coach. The honeymoon period is over. And so I think he needs to understand that himself and his coaching staff need to understand this is the biggest game of the year. We have to treat it as such, and then make sure that the players know. There's a lot of leaders in that locker room, Nahuel being one of them, that know what it takes to win these types of games, have been in these kinds of scenarios, but we need to make sure that the rest of the squad is in tune and we're all playing up to par to the level that this type of competition deserves.
Yeah, and as if we needed any more motivation, like what better way to send Gignac out than with a title, right? Like that in itself should fire the boys up because they know how important he is to the history of the club, of the league, and it would be such a legacy uh fulfilling moment to see him lift that trophy in his final game and to leave the club in great hands, qualified for 2 international competitions in the future, and he deserves it. The team deserves it. But it all depends on the attitude and the game plan, right? Edgar saying, I feel the curtain closing and I'm not mentally prepared, but I do believe this team is prepared to take home the title. I hope so, man. I really do. Obviously, we've had a lot of questions and, things to be concerned about, especially after that second leg. But I think you set it up really well, the both of y'all. That there's really like there's genuinely no excuse for us, right? Like we have to go out and take this game immediately. Like what that looks like, we'll talk about in a second, like what we hope the game plan will be. But this is not a game where you just kind of wait for stuff to happen. Like the the team needs to be the protagonist in this game, in all honesty. Even if it's hard, like Tigres needs to be the protagonist in this game. That's how it's going to be successful for us. So hopefully the boys have been working on that over the last couple weeks. And as you mentioned, Lou, like everybody's healthy. Literally everybody's healthy. Marco Farfan has been practicing with the squad. Joaquim is back. Correaran is back. Everybody's back, right? Like there's no injuries holding up. There's no absences, none of that. Like everybody's around. Unless something happens tomorrow, like everybody's going to be available, and hopefully Guido picks the best 11 out of that. But with that in mind, there has been some leaks about the lineup that we were just referring to earlier. And the leak lineup that we have currently is as follows. And as soon as I finish this, I'm going to let Lou uh, express why he thinks this is not the correct lineup in his eyes. The lineup that has been leaked for us is Nahuel Guzman, of course, the back line of Chuy Garza, Romulo, Joaquim, and Jesus Angulo. Midfield trio of Cacheta Araujo, Gorri, and Bru, with your front three of Angel Correa, El Búfalo, and Diego Lainez. So tell me, Lou, why do you think this is not the correct one in your eyes?
This is a game where you need to utilize the wide spaces, and this is the same sort of mistake he made against Chivas, where you're offset, you're heavy on one side and basically non-existent on the left, which forces your two main creators to kind of venture off the spaces where they're most effective. If you're asking Brunetta to drift right or Correa to drift right or left, um, in this case left, then you're underutilizing those middle spaces. And to me, you need to be balanced for this game. Like the way this lineup set up is you're right heavy, so attack on the right, but you're showing nothing on the left. And you know Toluca is a very well coached team, and they will pick you apart. Uh, if one thing that Turco does, it's prepare his guys and then manage the game really well for the full 90. He just understands the game very well. He sees it, he reads it very well, and I think he'll pick us apart. We'll lose possession, and then we will be all our marbles will be on that right side, and then he'll know you stop that right side, you're cutting off the chances. Um, and so I think, to me, the back line looks great. I think that's a good solid back line. It sets you up really well for anything that might happen through the 90 minutes. But I think this is a game where you need to sacrifice El Buffalo Aguirre for a winger. So in my opinion, I would go with a 4-2-4 and play Ozzy Herrera, Lainez, and then that leaves Brunetta and Correa to be in that middle space in the interior lanes. And I think that keeps you very balanced. It keeps the attack on both sides. You use the wide spaces. Um, you have a very balanced squad as far as defensively. You're able to defend, but when you need to send numbers up, you have a lot of numbers to keep the Toluca backline occupied. And I think it's going to be very important. You said the right word, and I think it's one that comes out of Pizarro's mouth, is that we need to be the protagonist. So from the get go, we need to be the team that possesses the ball, that shows intent, that creates dangerous plays, that has chances, that invades the final third. That's the type of team we need to be. If Tigres comes out the way they did against Chivas, where you say, hey, you can have the ball, we'll sit in a low block, it's not going to
It's
work,
over.
especially at altitude. If you see that from the squad, bro, you might as well turn the TV off, because Buffalo Aguirre is just not going to be able to counter against the two big center backs that Toluca has. They're physical. I'm assuming Fede Pereira is going to be available. And so it worries me a little bit that Pizarro doesn't have the right 11, doesn't have the right formation out there, and now you're forced into situations where like the Chivas game, where in-game management was terrible, the subs are terrible, poorly picked out subs, and then now you're on the back foot, and that's my biggest concern. I think Tigres needs to control the middle third. We need to make sure we attack from both wings, and that's what's going to keep us competitive. They're missing a very important fullback, so we need to make sure we attack. So we'll see. I mean, Pizarro knows this squad well. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, and obviously the league lineup could be just the league trying to throw off Turco. We don't know. We don't know what he's going to end up doing. But to me, the 4-2-4 leaves you with some very good subs. You got Aguirre to bring in later with fresh legs. You got Gignac that you can bring in with fresh legs. El Chicha. So you got options. And if you even need to get more offensive, that allows you to pull Araujo. You play with a lone CDM, right? You can pull Angulo, bring extra pieces. That kind of gets you in a position where you can make offensive moves if you need to later on in the game. But I think your starting 11 needs to be the correct one. Otherwise, you're already starting off in the wrong foot.
Projected lineup that I see for Toluca is pretty standard for them. It does, based on what I've been trying to read earlier in the week, it sounds like you're right that Fede Pereira is going to be back for them. So what I'm seeing is pretty standard for them. I mean, they'll have the midfield trio of Romero and Castro and Marcelo Ruiz. Castro's been kind of playing out on the left wing recently as a replacement for Vega, and he's had a lot of success with that, unfortunately. Paulinho will definitely start. Elinho will definitely start on the right wing, and then their back line will be Lopez, Mendes, Fede, and Simon has been kind of playing the right back role, and Mochis will be the goalkeeper, unless he wants to unless he wants to bring out our old friend in between the posts. But I think Turco unfortunately learned his lesson after that first leg of the final back in the league. So AJ, do you agree with Lou that the play is to bring in Ociel for Buffalo and Correa ends up being maybe your 9, or you kind of run like a false 9 situation, that 4-2-4 that Lou presented? How do you see that playing out?
I like it, but this is a game that I would bring Farfan on the left. I
Oh wow.
think the link up play between Oziel and Farfan is really good. So I would bring Farfan to the left. My midfield would be Goriadan and uh, Romulo. I'd have that as my midfield. The center backs, Joaquim and Angulo. And I just think the speed with Garza and Farfan on the wing backs would elevate the attack for this game.
So
Um,
no Araujo.
no, I would move for this game. I would move Romulo. I'd pair Romulo and Goriadan,
Interesting. Okay.
and then I give my boy uh, give my boy Purata some minutes. I'm tired of the slander.
No manches. No manches.
I'm
Drieger
just kidding.
saying
No,
go full out attack, by the way.
but
Sorry, go ahead.
I definitely agree with what Lou said, letting Correa and Brunetta manage the middle of the field. Um, I mean, we saw what the link up play looked like in the Ligia for a little bit. When it was there, it was really well, and I think um, Oziel and on the left it makes sense. I just think this isn't a game. The way Toluca plays doesn't play to Buffalo's strengths. You know, like this is a game that is going to expose his weaknesses a lot. And like Lou said, I would bring him in the second half, fresh legs with the intensity. We have a lead with his intensity. You know, we're applying the pressure on him with the lead. It makes sense to bring him off the bench.
Yeah, I don't think based on his form he should start anyway. I mean, he's had really a rough, I don't know, 6 games Buffalo has. Like, when's the last time he did anything good?
Cincy game, the home game,
Since he game, yeah. Did he score in the? Did
he
he score
scored.
in the Chivas first game though? Or am I tripping? That's maybe the last time he did anything good, and that was like 1 out of 6. Because in the National Series, he was honestly pretty non-existent. The second Chivas game, it may be his worst game for us. I mean, part of that's because he didn't really get the ball. I don't know. Like, I'm definitely with y'all that he shouldn't start. I definitely think Ociel should start just based on the fact that he's had success in this competition. You know, it's kind of like, not to make the full blown comparison, but it's kind of like it's kind of like Libertadores 2015, Joffre Guerron not starting the final, even though he was probably the best player in the Libertadores run. Um, there's some similarity there, I feel like, because Ociel has had a really good CONCACAF Champions Cup campaign. So I think he should be the guy. I'm conflicted on what you've brought up, AJ, about Farfan, because I love the idea of it, and I think that he would be a like great play in this game. The problem, obviously, is that he just hasn't played all season, and so is it worth having him come back for his first game of the season when he has no game rhythm in the last game of the season in a final on the road, right? Like, that's the question that has to be asked. I'm not saying that he shouldn't. I think there's an argument to be made that we're a better team that when he's on the field versus when we're not. Even though Paco Reyes, to his credit, has been really good over the last few weeks. I don't know. I think that's a very conflicting position because Angulo could go there. You could put Loroña there. You could put Paco. You could put Farfan. You could do 4 different options there, genuinely. And I don't know what Guido's going to do. Would you stick with Angulo at left back, Lou?
I would. I'm with you on the lack of playing time this season. It's a really big game. Like I do trust the kid. Like for example, in a situation where we need the speed, we need to pursue the game, pulling Angulo and bringing him in. I would roll that dice. Um, but to ask of him 90 minutes at altitude in that venue starting, I would not roll that dice. Just because I just don't know. I trust if Pizarro were to put him out there, I trust that Pizarro has seen enough of him to where he says, "Now he's in form, he's ready to go." And if that's the case, then I'm gonna trust that he's gonna do well there. But personally, with what I know, him having missed so many games, I would just go with the tried and true Angulo. Right? He's reliable. You're you're facing a really tough, pacey winger in Elinho. You want a guy that's experienced, that's not going to make any mistakes. That's another thing. You got to just really watch the mistakes in the box, right? You over pursue something and you foul in the box, and you're messing up the game. So those little things you get with rhythm throughout the season, and I think he's just had too much of a layoff.
Who started in the second leg last year in the final? Who started left back? Because I
I got
know
you. I'm
then
gonna name you
He
the whole
start
lineup.
he started, but I think he got subbed out. He was toast, dude. At some point, I think that
did
foot
Farfan
was
get hurt
killing
the
him.
first leg or the second?
No,
I know.
Farfan got hurt the second leg. That's when he
Okay.
got that huge bruise, and he came off at halftime because he got hurt right before the half ended, and then he
Mm.
braved it out, and then he got pulled. The
Yeah,
back,
that thing
okay,
looked like a grapefruit.
bro, for real, bro, get this. This was the starting lineup of that second leg back in December. Farfan, Poratovic, because Angulo was hurt, right? Joaquim Garza, Gorriarán Romulo, Correa, Bruneta, Lainez, and APG, because APG started both legs of the final. That is already way different with the fact that Purata is not going to sniff the field in this game. God forbid, right? Like you're already going to have an upgrade on the back line. And I would argue you have an upgrade in the midfield, and Toluca has not played against us since Araujo arrived. Because even in January, when we played them in like league or week 3 of the league season, he was still not here yet. So I really like that alone, just because it's going to be different and we're going to be more solid, I think, at the back and in the middle of the park. That to me already gives me a ton of hope compared to what we were rolling with in December when we went there. So,
And that's why I've been saying it for a couple weeks now. We are the favorite, and I think we need to wear the title proudly. We are the favorites because we're at full strength. We're healthy. We're rested. We have the better squad, in my opinion. They're missing two very important pieces. So I think we need to wear it and say we are the favorites for this one. I feel like if our effort's there, this should be ours for the taking. Like we even coming off the bench, I feel like our depth is better. Like, who do you like? Let's say who's been banged up? Marcel Ruiz. He's been banged up for them. He's kind of nursing that knee quite a bit. Let's say he were to go down. Who do they have to bring in at that spot? Like really, they don't have a lot of depth, dude. So to me, that's why I keep harping. I think we need to make sure we go all out. We attack. We're the protagonists, and force them into getting tired. Force them into subs, and let's face some of their subs, because I do feel like if our guys were to get tired or have issues with altitude, we have the better subs. You've got Farfan, you've got Buffalo, you got Gignac, you got stinking Chicha. So you have options.
I think the second leg we play Correa out wide, and that and Elinho crossed him up for his goal. Because
Yeah, and
yeah,
that was
yeah,
to me that was a big error that Pizarro made, is trying to force Brunetta to play in that second pivot when after like the 50th minute he just like wasn't giving you much defensively, and then Correa was having to track back to defend, and that was for you're asking a guy whose primary role is attack to come down and defend. I think you're just putting too much on his plate, and that's why I feel like this time around we're a lot more balanced. Like you've got Araujo, who's a very defensive minded CDM, and Gorreran, who's a box to box guy, making that effort this time around. That we got killed in the middle third, man. Last time around, Marcel Ruiz, Nico Castro, all these guys, they cooked us. And I think this time around, if we have the numbers in the middle third, they're you're gonna ask three guys to run around to cover a lot of space. And Elinho is not the type of winger that's gonna come down and help out defensively. So like Pizarro needs to understand this kind of stuff. Overload that middle third and force guys who are not used to defending to come down and defend, and just have play the positional game, and have numbers.
yeah, absolutely. And the the thought of Correa being the 9 or not having a true 9 kind of helps with that, right? Like we've kind of seen some of the drawbacks of that when we don't have a true 9, but I think in this scenario it kind of helps to kind of confuse them on that front, especially since, as we've mentioned, we are more solid at the back in some
It,
ways.
it
I really think Araujo is going to be a big difference maker just because Toluca hasn't played us with that before, and our midfield dynamic is better and stronger when he's in there.
if you play Buffalo Aguirre, the center backs have a reference. They have a certain area they know they need to cover, and a lot of times they'll know Buffalo Aguirre is coming to us. He's coming to Bruce. He's coming to Bang. and you make their job a little easier. They know it's going to be physical. They know it's going to be tough, and mentally they're ready. Okay, let's go, right? But when you take away that, and now you say, oh, Correa is the 9, then you're forcing them to make tactical decisions. Do I stay back and wait for him, or do I move up to try to cover that ground, right? If I move up, there's space behind me, and now you've got Lainez, you've got Herrera, you've got Bruneta coming into that space, opening up passing lanes where you can score. Right now, if you get in behind that back line, now you got a one-on-one basically against the keeper. So I think, to me, that's why it's a no-brainer to go with that 4-2-4, because you're forcing that back line to shift forward and leaving space. And I think that's going to be important, especially with Gallardo out, who's a very, has a good brain, understands the game very well, knows when to push up, knows when to defend. There's going to be opportunities for us to take advantage of that. So to me, you start out the game moving them around, shifting them around to create space, and then you can easily say, hey, I'm pulling one of these guys, and now I bring in a bruiser and put them, make them kind of play more in the low block. But you've done the dirty work early on, where you've controlled that midfield, you've made them run around, you've worn them out, and now you bring in a guy like him that can just finish them off.
Yep. For sure. With that in mind, our most important player on Saturday is going to be who from our side?
I already know what I'm going to get out of Correa. So to me, the most important player is going to be Bruneta. I think he needs to have a great night. He let us down in that final, that second leg. I think he might have ran out of juice. And I think if he can step up, I think he'll be really important. To me, Bruneta, Lainez need to be on their game. If Lainez can have a great game, bro, it's going to be a long night for them, because that means he's getting into the final third, he's entering the box. And when he's dribbling into the box, now you have scoring opportunities, you've got passing lanes, you've got everything you need right there to be able to create those dangerous plays.
AJ, do you agree, or do you have somebody else in mind?
Since we brought up the middle third, I'm gonna say if Araujo starts, that's gonna be the most important. He can maintain the shape and help out in the defense. I think he's gonna be the most important for the team. But I agree with Lou what he said about Linus. If Linus attacks the fullbacks like he's on his A game, like it's gonna be a long day for Toluca. We just got to get in the box and take advantage of the opportunities that will be present to us.
And the thing that I like about Araujo too is that in possession, it allows us to really open up, right? Like, because he drops so deep and kind of even drops with the center backs. Romulo kind of ends up becoming the right center back or even the right back that pushes Garza up closer to the Lainez, and that kind of puts more numbers in the final third. And that's something that I think we need in this game, which makes, again, his role so important because we didn't have anybody like that in December, right? Like we didn't have a guy dropping back that deep. Or if you did have somebody dropping back that deep, it was Gorriaran or like you mentioned Bruneta or like guys who don't need to be doing that. When you have a true six like that coming back there and allowing kind of things to open up when you're in possession, I think that just really makes the team flow. Like seeing that, like in the semifinal first leg, like seeing how that worked, like in real life, and having a great view of it on the top of the stands in Nashville when I was there, like really caught my eye, and that was one of my favorite things about that game, which is just kind of seeing that relationship between Araujo and Romulo and Chuy Garza kind of form, because when Cachete drops that deep, it just opens things up for everybody, and you're not leaving yourself that exposed because Romulo's a really good stopper in his own right, whether he's in the middle of the park or whether he's in the back. and he can kind of catch things before they really develop into something bad. So I really hope that we use that well, because the thing that we have to do is we have to make them have fits. Like, we really need to give Toluca fits in some way, shape, or form. And even though the right side is our stronger side in that way, like, we still need to give them fits and make it really difficult for them to stop us. Even though I'm sure they will try to do whatever they can to stop that. We need to do whatever we can to make sure Garza is still bombing up on the right side, and, Lainez is doing his thing and having a good game against their backline. That's ideally what would happen. Um, I I want to talk about just the start of the game, because I'm really a big believer that in games like this, the way you start really dictates how the game goes. We've seen Tigres at their best this season. We've seen Tigres at their worst, right? I think it would be a disgrace for us to come out in the first 15, 20 minutes of the game and not try to dominate on the ball, right? Like, I think that's so important to, like, own possession, get a hold on the game, and not make it too open, and also not sit in a low block. Like, we need to be, like I said, we need to be the protagonist in this game, and starting off on the right foot in that way, I think, is the only way in order to get true control of this game. I don't know if this game is supposed to be high scoring or low scoring. I don't know what's the best for us. Honestly, maybe you guys can help make a case for one way or the other, but I really think it's important for us to calm the waters and not be afraid in the first 15, 20 minutes. Like, let's get the ball, let's get things moving, let's kind of figure out our shape and go from there. Not necessarily go like slow, but we need to be the ones holding on to things and not like letting them just, bounce the ball around and hold things in possession and already starting a low block, because that's just going to put a lot of pressure and nervousness, and that's the last thing we need in a situation like this, in my opinion. So
I think this is the type of game that I don't think it's going to get started till like the 15th, 20th minute, just because too much rest plays against you. So I think there's going to be a little bit of rust from both teams. So I expect there to be a little bit of a feel out process, kind of like the way heavyweight fights start, right? They're kind of just check in, they're throwing, but nothing heavy, right? You're just feeling it out. So I think there might be, a little space there where it becomes perhaps like a game where it's all kind of battling and dueling out in the middle third, and then I think the intensity is going to pick up as the game goes along, right? Once the teams feel like, okay, we've got a really good warm up here, we know what we're working with, and I think you're going to start to see more of a slugfest. To me, this type of game needs to be low scoring. If it ends up being a high scoring game, we're not playing our game. We're not possessing the ball. We're not controlling the match, and we've turned it into a back and forth, direct counter attack type of game, and I don't think that benefits us. To me, a game of that sort benefits them because Paulinho is a better nine than Buffalo Aguirre, is a more lethal nine than Buffalo Aguirre. Elinho is pacier than our guys. So it wouldn't surprise me if Toluca baits us into a game like that where they play in a low block and now they're playing direct and playing the counter, knowing that perhaps we need to move up our back line for them to have that space. I think we're underestimating the upgrade that we're getting by having Joaquim and Romulo in that center back duel. I think that's a huge upgrade from Purata. Um, Obviously Purata was in better form last season. He's had a huge drop off, but nothing's changed as far as his speed. He's tremendously slow, and that's one thing that really has me feeling confident is the fact that now you have Paulinho going up against very good 1v1 defenders in Romulo and Joaquim. I'll take my chances with that any day, right? Like you've pretty much one of the, if not the best center back in the league, at least arguably top three center back in Joaquim. And when it comes to 1v1 defending, like shutdown defender. So to me, that's going to be a really important piece. And now you have a guy like Angulo shutting down Elinho. I think that kind of almost neutralizes them because as AJ said, if Araujo's doing his thing, Gorreran's doing his thing, now you have guys covering Marcel Ruiz and Nico and Romero, and that kind of keeps everybody occupied, and it frees up Correa to do his magic. So I mean, the more I think about it, bro, the more confident I get in this game. It's just I think the key in this game is going to be, do we want it enough? Is our intensity there? Is our effort there? I think we need to, at the very minimum, match their effort, but I think it needs to be one where we outmatch their effort. And if we do that, then I really like our chances.
Anything to add there, AJ?
No, I think Lou summed it up really well.
Okay. What guy on their side do you think is the one guy that we really need to neutralize the most? I have a name in mind, just based on Champions Cup form alone. Castro's had a really good Champions Cup campaign. Like him switching out to the left wing, his crossing is really strong, and that's something that we just have to watch out for. Like on the right side, like Chewy has to be ready for that, and I know that he will like to drift into the middle of the park like he is normally accustomed to, but we have to be really mindful of that threat. Like it's a different type of player out on that side as opposed to Alexis Vega, right? And I know that we already kind of dealt with that in the second leg last year because Vega, as we remember, didn't play until the latter half of the game and was only really there for the penalty shootout. So we kind of already have experience with that. We just have to be better with that. It almost kind of makes me wonder, we've talked about it, I think, offline before, of like, what if Romulo actually was the right back and we had a back line of Angulo and Joaquim and either Paco or Farfan or Loronio, whoever want to put a left back, just to kind of neutralize that portion of their offense. I mean, I trust Tui to be on his A game, but that is something that, based on current form, obviously Paulinho's obviously always a threat. Trigger saying Elinho, of course, Elinho's always a threat because of his speed. But Castro, to me, I think is a big game changer for them because he is doing all that he can to ensure that the drop off between him and Vega is not massive, and we just can't like think, oh, Vega's not there, we're gonna be fine. Like, no, he's had a really good season, and I just hope that we're weary of that, because he can't hurt us. I mean, he's had, especially in the home games, he's had very very good performances in this competition, and I just need the boys to be on top of that and not think of him as an afterthought just because he's not playing in his natural position in the middle of the field. That's how I feel.
To kind of add to your point, Dennis, I think you expect to see a little bit of shifting in that back line because I expect Chuy Garza to kind of get free roam privileges in this game, in the sense that he's gonna let Lainez push up, play as a true winger, and Garza be the guy who feeds him, makes the overlapping runs. And if that happens, right, where Garza is having to push up to support any runs Lainez makes, then I see us shifting defensively at times where Romulo kind of plays more of a fullback. Um, Joaquim becomes the right center back. Angulo becomes left center back, and watch for Araujo to kind of drift into that left fullback slot. So you're kind of creating a little bit of a slide over like that, just to kind of neutralize that, because with that back line, the way he set it up, and he's not using a natural left fullback, right? He's not using Farfan. Then you have to be able to have a fullback that does get the free pass, right? And I think it has to be Chuy Garza naturally. And obviously that formation with Garza pushing up could change to like a 3-4-3. Who knows what it'll be? But I think Araujo will become that guy who becomes a stopper or becomes the left fullback at times. Um, to add to Threedger's point, El Nino hasn't been great in this Conca run for them. He hasn't been fantastic. He's had some really bad games actually. That first game against LAFC, he didn't look great. But surprisingly, he kind of cooked us in that second leg at Toluca. So yeah, if he's having a good night, bro, I think we're in trouble. If Marcel Ruiz is having a really good night, I think we're in trouble, right? That means our midfield's falling apart. That means our fullback's not doing his job and he's overworked, right, or outnumbered or whatever it is that's happening. We're losing the positional game, whatever that may be. That to me is a bad sign. If you neutralize those guys and then you're having to worry about Nico Castro, I think Nico Castro has like tremendous class. If you're having to worry about him, then I'll take that battle. I'll take that battle with Zwarg and I'll take that battle with Chuy Garza. And I think that's less to worry about. Um, so like I'm kind of with Threedger. I think we need to shut down El Nino. We need to shut down Marcel Ruiz, and then Nico Castro's just gonna do his thing. It's kind of like Correa, right? Like Correa, they're just not gonna neutralize him. He's gonna have his times where he's controlling the game. So you just kind of have to pick your poison at times.
Additional thoughts, AJ? Additional players that you feel like we need to watch out for on their side?
I think that one sneaky guy is Angulo. Like he's just that one, especially like he's had a good Concacaf run as well. He's just that one guy that he takes advantage of the attention that Paulinho gets. And granted, they don't have Alexis Vega, so it's really gonna be locking in on Paulinho. But I think Angulo's like another one of those guys that you have to watch him at all times because he's a sneaky one. He can score from the outside. He can score inside the box. So he would be my player.
Yeah, that's a good shout, AJ. Great shout, bro.
I agree. You guys want to you guys want to hear the lineup that we had the last time we played them in January, like week 3 of the season?
Did Gacelo didn't play right now?
No, but your Gemelo did right before he transferred. um, Osvaldo Rodriguez played the entire 90 minutes, and Buratovic got a red card. So,
Oh man.
strange times. I feel like we've done all the big analysis, right? Um,
It's predictions now.
I think it's prediction time. Good grief. I can't. I can predict this confidently. I'm going to be stressed on Saturday. My heart rate is going to be through the roof. Good lord.
Oh man. Can we have a normal good final for once?
Impossible.
Yeah.
AJ, start us off. Predictions, goal scorers, something that's going to happen in the game. Go.
That's gonna be 1-0. I feel a 1-0 game. Like Lou said, if it turns into a high scoring affair, it's just I don't feel confident in our nines. I think the edge is there. I do think we need to do. I think we need to have a similar game plan to what we did with Nashville and Mukhtar, and we need to do that with Paulinho. If we take Paulinho out of the game, like I 100% confidently, okay, we're winning this game. But we have to neutralize Paulinho. But yeah, I'm going 1-0. Defensive affair, and then we'll get that one.
And your goal scorer is?
I'm gonna give it to Brunetta.
Okay. Hold on, before you get to yours, Lou. Double Nation 2-1 Tigres. Lonjamer gets a red. Drieger saying 3-1 or 2-1 overtime. Oh,
Oh, Drieger,
extra time, bro.
don't put that curse on us, Drieger.
Jesus. Anyways, all right, Lou.
Oh man, I'm kind of with AJ on this one, bro. But you know what? I'm gonna be positive. I'm gonna say it stays 1-0, and then sort of later in the game, we make it 2-0 and we win 2-0.
Okay. As much as I want to say that we're going to hold them to a clean sheet, I just don't think that's happening. Unfortunately, they've been pretty gnarly at home in this competition. I mean, they
Yeah,
scored
bro.
they put how many past LAFC? 4 or 5. They put how many past San Diego? 5. Like
Yeah, we're smoking rock, bro. You're right.
I think they're gonna get one, but I'm with Edgar Double Nation. I think we're gonna get a 2-1 win. Ay ay ay. Give me. I tweeted it yesterday. The team posted a picture of Correa, and I said I need a big game from you on Saturday, my friend. And I think he's gonna have it. I'm believing it. I'm manifesting it. I think he'll get the first goal. We'll give up a goal. It'll stay tied, and then hear me out. Fairy tale ending. Gignac scores
Gignac,
minute 86,
let's go.
87, and we survive, and he rides off into the sunset with a second Champions Cup trophy.
If he does that, then I would have to change my vote for the goal of the season. Like, that would top. That would top.
That would top the Rayados one.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think so too.
That would. If he bicycle kicks a goal like that,
Bro, please,
Bro. Oh,
please. Hopefully he's feeling good. Hopefully he hasn't been eating too many of his pizzas at the restaurant to where he's feeling slow. You know what I mean?
what I want the most is the trophy, but after the trophy would be a Gignac goal. That would be.
Would you be like Edgar and
Oh yeah, dude. We'd be streaking down the streets. We'd be streaking down the streets of Arlington, bro, for sure.
Drieger saying Gignac needs to be subbed in between 70 and 75 and not in the 80s. I agree. 1,000,000%. I don't care what the game is at. You bring him in at that time.
Yeah, that was the big mistake, I think, or one of the big mistakes that Guido made last final against them in that Toluca game is that he didn't play his cards right as far as his subs and his starting 11. He didn't. If we're thinking worst case scenario, where, well, not worst case scenario, but a scenario in which this goes into overtime and PKs, you absolutely have to have Gignac in that game. So that means, to me, you have to find a way to get him in, right? And I think it needs to be better thought out this time around. As I feel like Guido just, dude, he just, in his in-game management was poor. Everything about that was just poorly handled, and then we ended up with just a bunch of bad PK takers. And so you also need to take that into account, right? So at no point in the game do you need to sub out Bruneta or Gorriarán, unless there's obviously a serious injury, right? But those two you got to have for PKs, and you got to have Gignac in there because you can't be relying on Correa. You can't be relying on your Nico Ibanez type guys. Your guys that are just a coin toss. Like, are they gonna make it or not? You can't be doing that.
Which, if you remember, most of them did make it in the back in December. It was actually, Correa and Ibanez who goofed it up. Even
Well, uh, Romulo missed his though,
yeah, you're
and
right.
Nahuel missed his. So hopefully Nahuel's been practicing his
Yeah,
PKs, bro.
yeah. Yeah, we don't have Antuna to
And
bail us
see, it's
out for
funny.
one.
Like out of all the guys, I thought Tuna was gonna be the one to goof.
Bro, and his was honestly it was the best
The
one.
best one taken.
Bro, he freaking nailed it. I wonder, I wonder if Pumas fans were wishing that he had been able to do that over the weekend. But shut up, Edgar. If they win, are we all getting the Guido haircut? Heck no, I'm not going bald. Absolutely not. I like my hair, even though it's thinning. I like it. No, thank you.
There
No,
was
thank you.
one season a long time ago, bro, where they did like the little pelon mask, the little pelon
Yes,
thing.
bro.
We should do something like that for the show, bro, where we put
No,
the little cap. We're just bald,
I
the
know,
bald
bro.
cap on, bro.
No, no, thank you. I would do a million other things besides that. Little CONCACAF Champions Cup final history for you guys. The last 5 finals before this one, the following score lines have been what they've been. Back in 2021, the scoreline of that final was 1-0. That was the last time the neighbors won. Seattle beat Pumas 5-2 on aggregate. 3-0 at home in the second leg. Leon beat LAFC 3-1 on aggregate. So that's the closest scoring one since then. And Pachuca 2 years ago beat Columbus 3-0, and then last year obviously Cruz Azul annihilated Vancouver. So I wonder what history has for us this time. Are we going to have a high scoring match? Hopefully not. Or are we going to have what we predicted and it's going to be 3 goals or less? Hopefully it's that based on history. It's really important for us to, last thing I'll say, to take the crowd out of it, whatever that looks like, because that crowd, obviously it's not our crowd, right? Like we have the best crowd in the country. But Toluca fans know what's up, and they've had a lot of success recently, and it's important to take the atmosphere out as best as possible in this game as well. So hopefully the boys do that. Hopefully we don't have a coward type game plan, and I'm being pretty like aggressive with that language because I mean that's what Guido did in the Chivas second leg. Like he was a coward, and he cannot do that again. As we mentioned, this is a one-off game. This is the last game of not only the season but truly of an era. And do you want to go out and just park the bus immediately, or whatever? Like, no, we're not going to do that. So hopefully he learned his lesson, and hopefully we can get after it from the get-go and take the sting out of the game and take the crowd out of it. Yeah, Toluca went from 10 fans to 15 after the bicampeón. Yeah, that's fair. Is that it? Have we done all of our analyzing?
We doing a quick from the vault. I think it's important to remember the Chivas final, the tremendous comeback.
Yeah. 3 years ago today, second leg of the 2023 Clausura final. Game to start out really rough, 2-0 first half, and then an absolute miracle thanks to CEO, APG, and obviously Profe, our current manager, scoring the winning goal in the latter stages of extra time, winning league title number 8 in Guadalajara, our most recent championship since. Yeah, so hopefully history repeats itself. Not in that way, obviously. Like I don't want the game to end up like that, but I want the end result to be similar to that 2 days from now. But yeah, that was 3 years ago, and that was a very interesting day. I remember I was in a bowling alley during the first half of that game, or most of the game actually, because my friends were like, "We should go bowling." I was like, "Okay, like I want to watch the final, but like they'll have the game on, like, or I can put the game on my phone." And bro, I'm like sprinting home, like speeding through the streets of Arlington, like trying to make it back home before the game ended, and I was still like 2 minutes away before the game ended, so I technically watched the last seconds of the game in my car. But I do remember crying tears of joy when that moment happened. And please, Lord, hear our prayers. We need that to happen again. A day of mourning, says Devil Nation. The day Sebastian used his last magic bean.
It's
Yeah.
funny that we'll be basically facing him for this.
Oh gosh. Yeah. No
Bro,
kidding.
let's not have the revenge of the ex.
Yeah, bro. No.
Please and thank you.
No.
I would be very upset, bro, if he
Oh
comes in
my bro.
turns into Clausura 2023
Bro, freaking
Cordoba, bro.
bro, he turns into freaking Neymar or Messi, bro. Just wins the game by himself. Please, God, no.
Stop talking about that. Let's not even go there.
Please, no. No, thank you. We need to win. Oh my gosh, we need to win. And I know that all of us here watching and listening want this result really bad. Unless you're watching this and you're like an America fan and you're a troll, like we all really want this to happen. It's okay. He's distracted filling out his Panini album, not locked in. That's now you're talking about yourself, big dog. You're out here collecting all the stickers that are left in DFW.
I still
don't wanna
haven't
hear it.
started my album. Do you guys recommend I start or just leave it alone?
I don't know, bro. I haven't seen any of them. I don't even know where to get them, to be honest with you.
I think Walgreens carries like at least a initial pack or something.
Just an FYI, Unimas is gonna have the game. We're not watching on Unimas, bro. We're watching on FS1. We're not trying to hear the payasadas of TUDN and that
Yeah, bro.
television network.
Cheerleaders for Toluca.
Heck
No,
no,
we're not
bro.
doing that.
We're watching on FS1, even if it means mid broadcasting. Mine got imported from Monterrey.
Yeah, I've done that before. Where you tell them to bring in some packs from Monterrey.
Yeah. The only things that I've seen, obviously now we've been kind of seeing some World Cup stuff float around everywhere, but like I was at Walmart a little while ago and they have shirts and hats and stuff and it looks all terrible obviously because it's Walmart, but at least there's promotion being made about this tournament. Feels like it's not being talked about enough that it starts in 2 weeks, but that's not important to me right now anyway. So is that it? We covered all our bases for tonight. Thank you for bringing up the from the vault moment.
I think we're good, bro.
AJ, last word.
I think we're solid. Let's just get the win.
Bro, we're either gonna be in fantastic mood next week or you might not see me for like 3 months.
Oh, bro. I can't. We cannot lose, bro. I'm gonna be depressed. Where are y'all watching the game? That's a great question. I was gonna watch it with Edgar. This dude talking about, oh, I got stuff to do, bruh, leaving me out to dry. So I don't know where I'm gonna watch the game on Saturday. I'm still trying to figure that out.
From mi casa.
It's probably what I'm looking towards at this point. So en mi casa para estresar.
Hey, if we win, are we doing a post?
Oh man, I mean, do we want to?
But if we win, we'll be in good spirits, bro.
Yeah.
9 p.m. Game would end at 9. The quick jump, just stay, man.
Yeah.
Hugs and kisses all around. Maybe Double L Nation will be without a shirt.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if I'm home for sure. If I'm not here for whatever reason, may have to do a quick from the phone episode, but we'll figure it out as we go. So stay tuned. Maybe we'll do one. Maybe we won't. I don't know. Just be ready. Obviously, if we lose, we may not be back for
You
a
won't
bit.
see us. You won't see us for a while.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. I mean, I don't think we'll be in great spirits. So stay tuned. We'll let you guys know accordingly. But that's kind of our plan for now. As always, thank you guys for being here and watching and listening and supporting. Almost 100 people watching us. 3/4 of the way there. We're so edgy. Maybe you'll see us. Maybe, yeah, bro, keeping it edgy, keeping you on your toes, man. That's what we're doing here. So, yeah, we'll let you guys know as always. If you haven't followed us yet on all of our social medias and stuff, whether that be the low times stuff or our personal accounts and all that, please do so. You can look at the episode description and show notes and all that good stuff. Subscribe, follow, all the things. Yeah, support us. Keep telling your friends about us. Like I said, we've been getting some increase in numbers recently, so we appreciate y'all for joining us. And yeah, this we'll see when the next time we do this will be. Maybe it'll be Saturday, maybe it'll be, I don't know. Lord knows. We'll see. We'll keep you guys posted. Well, we appreciate y'all support throughout the season. It's been a very interesting season in a lot of ways, but hopefully this season ends on the right note. Um, with a win, with a championship on Saturday, and we'll obviously have plenty of things to talk about in the off season as they come, and with the World Cup and all that. But for now, all that matters is Saturday. As I mentioned before, 7 o'clock kickoff on FS1 and TUDN, and as Streaker mentioned, Unimas. So be sure to tune in. We'll be active on Twitter if you need some good memes or commentary. We got you. So that's it for us on the show. For AJ, for Lou, and for me, Dennis. This is the Lou Times Podcast. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night. Enjoy Saturday. Hopefully we get the win, and we will talk to you guys soon/soon-ish. Arriba la U. Bye-bye.
Peace.